Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. And it's time for another video. This time we're going to be talking about the historical rivalry between Leeds United and Millwall. Of course, we do face each other on Sunday, but this is two sets of fans that don't really get on, and it's a bit insane really when you consider one's in the north and one's in the south. You know, at least with the Manchester United rivalry, it is just across the Pennines, it is to do with the War of the Roses, but really, why do Leeds United and Millwall fans despise each other? Of course, Leeds United versus Millwall is just around the corner, but this isn't a preview, okay? Today we're going to be looking at the intense, passionate north-south divide in English football between these two clubs. I want to delve into the history and dynamics of this fierce clash. So please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. So let's talk about the founding and distance and history of these two clubs first and foremost, okay? Millwall was founded in London in 1885, older than Leeds United. Of course, Leeds United, as we know, emerged in Yorkshire in 1919, okay? Now, why do these clubs have a rivalry when they are separated by over 170 miles, folks, okay? It seems a bit strange, right? Well, we're going to get into that. Now, both teams entered the Football League during the 1920-21 season, albeit in different divisions. And in the early days, from 1920 up to 2003, we only faced each other a mere 12 times, okay? Primarily competing in different tiers of English football. Neither side at that time considered the other a rival on the pitch during this period. However, from 2004, that changed. From 2004 up to 2020, the teams met 28 times, of course, when Leeds were relegated from the Premier League. And that is where the rivalry ignited. The rivalry truly ignited during that 2007-2008 season in League One. Disorder and violent clashes erupted between fans and police at Elland Road. Now, I was actually at that game. I didn't have a season ticket at the time. I went with my brothers. I was in the south stand. Me, Simon and David went to that game. It was a vociferous atmosphere, not least because prior to the game, Millwall had come in the first buses and smashed them to smithereens just outside the Billy Bremner statue. Now, as a young lad, you can get swept away, carried away, bouncing around, thinking I'm He-Man, going, come on, with having no sort of premeditation to even get involved. I always remember, quite funny, these two guys, they look like Right Said Fred, at the top of the first bus, you know, giving it to the Leeds United fans. So, of course, already before the game had even started, really started to erupt that game. And after the game, naturally, first buses refused to take Millwall back to the train station, and the police had to frog march them back to Central Station in Leeds. But they kept him in after the game. So, of course, I remember the riot police, horseback. People who were at the game will remember this. I remember getting chased up the hill and over the overpass, and I remember even going into the little shop near where the five-a-side pictures are, where one of the Burley Banksy, I think the Eddie Gray mural is currently, and yeah, they were shutting the shutters and people were, you know, running in the shop and taking things. It was all a bit wild, you know, and as a young lad, obviously, you can easily get swept away with it. Like, oh my God, this is amazing, you know. I'm not trying to glorify it, but I was only 19 at the time, 18, I think, maybe. Young, dumb and full of, you know, thinking I was the bee's knees. But I remember the game well. Please, folks, if you were at that game, you remember that game, you remember the trouble both before and after, please let me know in the comments how you remember that. The intensity continued like into the 2008-9 season, because both teams were vying for promotion to the Championship the following season, and ultimately Millwall knocked Leeds out of the League One playoffs at the semi-final stage. Even in recent times, like you think of Neil Harris always shithousing results against us, Steve Morrison, I remember him at Elland Road when they were beating us one time, doing this in front of the Leeds fans, really really creating an atmosphere that made your blood boil. Like, I remember the 3-2 game when they were beating us 2-0 at half-time, and we came back and won the 3-2, and to show how much it meant to me at that time, I'm going to share an image with you in a sec, but I remember, like, my friend who I go to the games with, Sean, was that pissed off, that irked. He left at half-time, and then we ended up winning the game 3-2. But yeah, I remember getting caught by one of the match day cameras, me celebrating as that third goal went in, and you can see the emotion on the face, man. I look like a turtle. Now, of course, there hasn't been scenes like there was in 2007-8 because police then put security measures in place. Kick-off times for future fixtures were always adjusted. That's why we're playing on Sunday, of course. And matches were heavily policed at the Den. I've been to the Den a couple of times, and it can be a nerve-wracking sort of experience for me the first time I ever went. I mean, I even had hair, for fuck's sake. And no, that's not my minder. That's boxer Dillian White. I had to take a picture, of course. But look at the clip of me there, man. Denim jacket. There used to be, there's like this Perspex shield, I guess, from where the train comes in, because they used to throw things down. I don't know how long that was there, but when I went, there was Perspex over. And of course, it's well policed. When you come out of the ground, you go around to the train station, there's always riot police there. And of course, there's a bit of shouting and all that sort of stuff. But it is heavily policed now. And of course, the West Yorkshire police as well created an anti-hooligan operation at the time, limiting the number of Millwall fans that could attend the games, and also they would have to meet at a certain meeting point outside of Leeds and then be drove in. And what we then saw is a lot of Millwall fans do not go to Elland Road. I remember being at the Den, sold out, and, you know, chants were, will you come to Leeds, will you F, will you F? Because, of course, a lot of the Millwall fans didn't feel it was worth the journey because of the heavy policing and being made to, you know, go to a certain pick-up point and not being able to get the game, you know, as easy as they would normally. And of course, both clubs have a little bit of notoriety as well. Of course, back in the 80s, hooligan firms and that stigma that surrounds both of these clubs, because the passionate fans of both clubs and their association with football hooliganism further fueled the rivalry, because in the 70s and 80s, the club's notorious hooligan firms, you had the Leeds United service crew and you had the Millwall bushwhackers. They were infamous for the violence. They were dubbed Dirty Leeds, of course, and the scourge of football, respectively. You know, so these tags stick around, and of course sometimes clubs want to shake that, of course, but at the same time it also can feel a bit like, you know, everyone thinks we're Dirty Leeds, so, you know, we'll play up to that. We will take on that moniker, if you like. Now, of course, football's changed and a lot less of this goes on, but supporters of the majority of teams outside of Leeds and Millwall still attach that stigma to our football clubs. I remember dating someone actually in Hartlepool, and obviously we'd spent time in League One with Hartlepool, or it may have been a cup game, and I remember my partner's dad at the time saying, I hate Leeds, dirty Leeds, and I was like, why? And a lot of it was due to a game where we'd played and there'd been a bit of trouble. But, you know, it is unfair to tarnish a group of people for a few people's mistakes, right? Or their behaviour. I mean, if we're being realistic, some people say Dirty Leeds, you can ask them a question and they don't even know why they're saying it. Now, where do you actually see Millwall as a rival to Leeds United? Because according to a survey that was done during the 2012-13 season, Leeds fans considered Millwall to be their joint third biggest rival alongside West Yorkshire side Huddersfield Town. I'm not sure I agree with that. Obviously, this was done, you know, over 10 years ago now. I would say Manchester United, Chelsea, and then, you know, there is, I guess, a conversation to be had. I'm not a big fan of Chef Wednesday. You do have Huddersfield, you have Millwall, etc. So it'd be interesting to know, folks, in the comments, where do you rank Millwall in terms of a rivalry with Leeds United? Of course, it's not so much a rivalry on the pitch anymore, but there is still that dislike for both clubs. I know of someone that had a decent relationship with a Millwall fan and was, I guess, not allowed to convey that they were friends due to the Millwall fan felt that he would get hate for associating with a Leeds fan. It's wild, but it is what it is. I remember speaking to a Chelsea fan actually previously, this is a couple of years ago, asking if they would come on when we were all Leeds TV, and they refused because they didn't think it'd do them great within their own fan base. So these things still go on, you know. These things are deep rooted, I guess. Like, I speak to Manchester United fans, I watch some Manchester United content, I have friends that are Manchester United fans, but I know certain fans. For example, I remember when Leeds United were sponsored by 32 Red, and I used to go to the game with Patches and Ken. I don't know if they're watching this. This is who I went to Millwall with as well, coincidentally. And they said, like, they wouldn't buy that shirt because it had the words red on. So, you know, some fans are, like, vitriolic. In summary, though, folks, this Leeds United-Millwall rivalry is fueled by passionate fans, historical clashes, and a deep-rooted dislike between the North and South. It's like you could be going up against Millwall, right? And a Northern lad could take a dive and be injured, and we'd be singing "You Soft Southern." You know what I mean? So it's mad. In summary, folks, the Leeds United-Millwall rivalry is fueled by passionate fans, historical clashes, and a deep-rooted Northern-South divide. These two clubs do remain the most polarising and contentious in English football today. If you were to do a survey and ask fans who they dislike the most, these two clubs would be right on up there. What are your thoughts on the rivalry? Were you at any of these historical clashes, any of these games? What were your experience? Where do you rank Millwall in terms of Leeds United rivals? Is it more from them now, or do you still have that? There is still clearly a dislike between both sets of fans, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, because like I say, it's probably going to be the last time we play them for a while anyway, because, you know, we're getting promoted, and yeah, we're going to see them on Sunday anyway. But I just thought I would stick this video out, and as I say, I'm trying to diversify the content. Let me know if it's something you like. The Premier League one went down well yesterday, so more will be seen. But thanks as always for watching this video. Please do smash a like on it, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in a bit.